Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Machaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the whole full elect, pushing this gospel amongst the four winds with truth and sincerity. All right, to you I say Shalom. It's your brother Parathon with a quick lesson. I'm going to title it, He is Our Power. He is our power. All right. Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, Seminole, West Indians, and Haitians of that legendary bloodline, that royal bloodline, right? He's our power, man. It's a scripture that says, before I get into it, let me get this. Psalms 96 and verse 5. It says, "For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord, Yahweh, made the heavens," right? So we worship the ultimate power, man. The gods of the nations are idols, right? Idols go back to since the beginning of time, but they were created for the other nations, for the heathen nations, because they aren't worthy of worshiping the name, of worshiping the true power. All right, let me see what this Judges say real quick. Judges 10, 13, and 14, it says, "Yet ye have forsaken me and served other gods, wherefore I will deliver you no more. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen, and let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation." Right, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Right, our 2/3 of our people, our forefathers, 2/3 of them, for the most part, have always, settled for these idols and these false gods, right? And there are accounts in the scriptures that these things were written aforetime for our learning, right? And to build our faith and our hope. So let's jump in. We're going to jump into this 1 Samuel 5. It's only 12 verses, but let's see. It says, verse 1. It says, "After the Philistines captured the ark of Yahweh, they took it from the battleground at Ebenezer to the town at Ashdod." Right? So I'm going to stop there and I'm going to jump back to 1 Samuel 4 and go into, I'm going to touch on this battle real quick. Right, it's 1 Samuel 4 and 2. "And the Philistines put themselves in array against Israel, and when they joined battle, Israel was smitten before the Philistines, and they slew of the army in the field about 4,000 men." Right, so the battle has begun here early in the chapter, and when we scroll down, verse 4 says, "So the people sent to Shiloh that they might bring from thence the Ark of the Covenant." You know what? Because I'm reading from the KJV out of my Bible. I'll just do it here. All right, so we'll jump down to verse 4. It says, Salakia, in the NLT, it says, "So they sent men to Shiloh to bring the Ark of the Covenant of Yahweh of heaven's armies, who is enthroned between the cherubim." Right, Hophni and Phinehas, the sons of Eli, were also there with the Ark of the Covenant. Right now, prior in the 3rd chapter, Samuel received a vision that basically the house of Eli, the priest that raised him, that they were going to be judged, for the iniquities, and also because he didn't rebuke his sons. He didn't keep his sons in order. His sons were wicked. Right. Also that the Ark of the Covenant would be removed. Let me see. Yeah. So he basically just told, Samuel received a vision about the priest Eli and about his sons, how they would be put to death And then, the fourth chapter is, this is when it starts to unfold, right? So we'll scroll down to continuing in verse 4. It says, who is enthroned between the cherubim? Hophni and Phinehas, the sons of Eli, were also with the ark of the covenant of the Most High Yahweh. And when all the Israelites saw the ark of the covenant of the Lord coming into camp, their shout of joy was so loud it made the ground shake. What's going on? The Philistines asked. What's all the shouting about in the Hebrew camp? Right, so they start panicking because they realize that the ark of the covenant was they seen it. They've heard of the account of the Exodus in Egypt. So they girded up their loins, man. It says, verse 9, it says, fight as never before, Philistines, if you do not want to become the Hebrew slaves, just as they have been ours, stand up like men and fight. Right? So, again, there was 4,000. We read in verse 4. Right? In verse 2, there was 4,000 men that Israel lost in battle. And as we scroll down here in verse 10, so the Philistines fought desperately and Israel was defeated again. The slaughter was great. 30,000 Israelite soldiers died that day. The survivors turned and fled to their tents. So the ark of the covenant, the ark of Yahweh, was captured, and Hophni and Phinehas, the two sons of Eli, were killed. And as you continue to read, which I will, I'm going to scroll down. But the prophecy was fulfilled, man. The sons were killed and the ark of the covenant was captured. So it goes on, man. Eli, he hears of the news of his sons being killed and the ark of the covenant being removed. He falls off the building and breaks his neck, and then he's put to death. And then his daughter-in-law hears of the news, and then she's pregnant, and she ends up she dies. So it's just a bunch of death. But this is the point. This is 1 Samuel 5. And 1, after the Philistines captured the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, they took it from the battleground at Ebenezer to the town of Ashdod. They carried the ark of the covenant of Yahweh into the temple of Dagon and placed it beside an idol of Dagon. Right? So Dagon was the chief god of the Philistines, the fish god. They believed that, he sent rain and assured bountiful harvest. So this is, and the Philistines were known for worshiping many gods. They figured that the more gods they had on their side, the more secure they felt. So that was the whole point of taking the ark. They thought that if it helped, if it helped our people, that it could help them, right? So we'll scroll down and see what happened, man. And it's beautiful. It says, verse 3, but when the citizens of Ashdod went to see it the next morning, Dagon had fallen with his face to the ground in front of the ark of the Lord of Yahweh. So they took Dagon and put him in his place again. But the next morning, the same thing happened. Dagon had fallen face down before the ark of Yahweh again. This time his hands and feet had broken off and were lying in the doorway. Only the trunk of the body was left intact. So Dagon was known to have hands and hands and feet like a man, I believe. And that goes into it. Let me see. God. Philistine deity of fertility, represented with the face and hands of a man and the tail of a fish. Yeah, so these heathens was worshiping, just coming up with the wildest shit and worshiping it and running with it. And our people became accustomed to it, right? And we're going to read further down. It says, verse 5, it says, that is why to this day, neither the priest of Dagon nor anyone who enters the temple of Dagon in Ashdod will step on his threshold, right? Then the Lord Yahweh's heavy hand struck the people of Ashdod and the nearby villages with the plagues of tumors, And in the KJV, it goes into instead of plagues, it says, I think it's emerods. Emerods in their secret parts. Right? So you see the word emerods goes into tumors and it goes into hemorrhoids. Right? The second definition here below, the hill, mountain, fort, the stronghold. So hemorrhoids. So the Lord plagued them with tumors and hemorrhoids, man. Every city every surrounding city, and the city that the ark was in, if they weren't put to death, then they had hemorrhoids. The Lord, that's a bad brother, man. So we're further on, it just goes into, we'll just finish it out. Therefore, they sent the ark of Yahweh to Ekron, and it came to pass that the ark of Yahweh came to Ekron, that the Ekronites cried out, saying, they have brought about the ark of the power of Israel to us to slay us and our people. So they sent and gathered together the lords of the Philistines and said, send away the ark of the power of Israel and let it go again to its own place, that it slay us not and our people, for there was a deadly destruction throughout all the city. And the hand of the Most High Yahweh was very heavy there. And the men that died not were smitten with emerods or hemorrhoids or tumors. And the cry of the city went up to heaven. Right? So, chapter 6 goes into they basically sent the Ark of the Covenant around. Like, yo, the Ark of the Covenant is here. People are dying, plagues. What should we do? Nah, send it here. So they basically kept sending it around. And I'm not gonna get too much into it. This is I'm gonna jump to verse 6. And then I'll close out, because that was pretty much the point. Yeah, so the Ark of the Covenant was with the Philistines for 7 months. Right? So they decided to send it back to Israel, to the town Beth Shemesh. Right? If we scroll down, let me read this verse real quick. All right, 1 Samuel 6:3. It says, and they said, if you send away the ark of the power of Israel, send it not empty, but in any wise return him a trespass offering. Then ye shall be healed, and it shall be known to you with his hand is not removed. It shall be known to you why his hand is not removed from you. Salakia. Then said they, what shall be the trespass offering, which we shall return to him? They answered, 5 golden emerods, 5 golden mice, according to the number of the lords of the Philistines. For one plague was on you all and on your lords. Right? So there was a plague of the hemorrhoids and the tumors. And there was also, it was said in other versions that, there was a plague of rats, man. And a bunch of other diseases, similar to the bubonic plague. Right? So the Lord wasn't playing. He gave them a small taster of the plagues of Egypt, just for removing the ark from without the place. Ultimately, it was prophecy. But, I believe, what is it? Exodus 9:15. The Lord does things, he hardens hearts of kings just to show his power, man. Just to show his power. We are merely pawns, man. What's that? Proverbs 21. The kings of heart are stirred. Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Yeah, just pawns, man. All right, so back in 1 Samuel, I read that, so they gave him a trespass sacrifice. They sent it back to Beth Shemesh. All right, this is verse 13, 1 Samuel 6:13. And they of Beth-shemesh were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley, and they lifted up their eyes and saw the ark and rejoiced to see it. Right, because this city is actually, it was the name of an Egyptian city, a city in Egypt. But this is us, man. Beth-shemesh, I believe it went back to Ephraim, a town in southwest Judah, and Naphtali, and a town in Issachar. And what does the name mean? House of sun or sun temple. So our people were worshiping the sun, man. Even then, fish gods. Our people were into a lot of wicked ass shit, and that's why they are destroyed today for a lack of knowledge. Right, Lord willing, all the men, that have been called or chosen and doing the work. All right, so I'm going to jump down. In verse 14, and the cart came into the field of Joshua, a Beth-shemite, stood there, and there was a great stone. They clave the wood of the cart and offered the kind of burnt offering unto the Lord. Right? And that's how, our people, man, our people they took initiative. Because I believe in the NIV, what did it say they did with the cart and the calves? It says, 14, the cart came into the field of a man named Joshua and stopped beside a large rock. So the people broke up the wood of the cart for a fire, and they killed the cows and sacrificed them to the Lord as a burnt offering. Yeah, they wasn't playing, man. Right, so they received the sacrifice. Verse 15, several men of the tribe of Levi lifted the ark of the Lord and the chest containing the gold rats and gold tumors from the cart and placed them on a large rock. Many sacrifices and burnt offerings were offered to the Lord that day by the people of Beth-shemesh. All right, it's verse 18. Salakia, verse 19. But the Lord Yahweh killed 70 men from Beth-shemesh because they looked into the ark of the Lord, and the people mourned greatly because of what the Lord had done. Who was able to stand in the presence of the Lord Yahweh, this holy power? They cried out, where can we send the ark from here? So they sent messages to the people at Kiriath Jearim and told them, the Philistines have returned the ark of Yahweh. Come here and get it. So they kept sending it around, man. Right? So that was pretty much the point there. Let me see. I'm going to grab a few. So the Lord doesn't play, man. Shit, we could go back just for edification's sake. It's Exodus 20:1. Then Yahweh gave the people all these instructions. Who are the people? The Israelites, the 12 tribes. It says, I am the Lord Yahweh, your power, who rescued you from the land of Egypt, the place of your slavery. You must not have any other God before me. You must not make yourself an idol of any kind or an image of anything in the heavens or on the earth or in the sea. The first commandment. Broke it. So this explains the condition that we are in as a nation today. Right? So to summarize everything, man, the Philistines, these heathens, realized that the ark was not a good omen in their case, but it was a source of a far greater power that they couldn't even comprehend, man. Something surprisingly that was surprising to them that they couldn't control. Right? So even after that victory they got over us in chapter 4, and that and in chapter 5 over that victory over their god Dagon, they still didn't take heed until they was afflicted with the tumors and the hemorrhoids, right? So it's like today, like 2/3 of our people, man, they don't respond. They don't want to hear this truth and respond biblically and spiritually until they experience some type of pain. Pain that's coming from self-sabotage, self-affliction, or just these curses, man. Hey, the scripture said, "Curse shalt thou goest as thou goest in, and curse shalt thou goest out." We're born into this. We're born into sin, and we're dying from it. We can't escape these curses. We can't escape Jacob's trouble, man. So it all comes down to, hey, our redemption is drawing nigh, and the doors of repentance are closing. So you got to seek him while he's found, while he can still be found, man. All right. Hey, so with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, a great millstone who teach them well. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing this gospel. All right, to you I say shalom.